Welcome to the Man of Honor podcast. My name is Corey, your host, and today we're going to be talking about price versus value. And this is a misunderstood thing when it comes to business owners and even entrepreneurs. And it took me a long time to actually understand this concept because it's so important. When it comes to price, in terms of your market and where you are within your business, you if you're not the market leader, then you are competing on price. Because, and again, what the difference between a market leader and somebody else who's within the market is the fact that the market leader knows how to communicate with the customers, and not just communicate, but actually communicate the problem that they're solving. And this is important because when you're trying to get your product out there, if you don't truly define the problem that you're solving, then it always comes down to your price. That there's miscommunication when it comes to the problem. So, for instance, this episode has been inspired by the fact that my son is 18 years old. He's also been diagnosed with autism, and while he's quite intelligent and picks up things very quickly and would excel in terms of getting a driving license, we're now in the process of actually trying to find a driving instructor that is capable of dealing with somebody with autism, or at least will deal with a customer that is got issues with anxiety, with new situations. So we started looking specifically for a driving instructor with that, and we got some recommendations. And with the recommendations that we got, the price was relatively the same. It was about £30 an hour, or for American listeners, that's $30 per hour. And we end up getting somebody who actually specifically said that on their website, it says they specifically work with autistic people. And that was pretty much it. And again, it's just a normal website where it's pretty much like a leaflet or a business card. So there wasn't still that information, but he was charging £45. So it's considerably more in terms of price. But we know the value that we're looking for, and price is not the big deal at this moment. Although we've had offers from other driving instructors who claim the same thing. The one issue is that when we started communicating with this guy, he said his price is up because he's done this quite a lot of times, and instead of creating even more value by communicating us the value that he brings, he started slating all other drivers. They're saying all those other driving instructors are horrible. You shouldn't go for them. I'm actually scared that they're so cheap. They shouldn't be that cheap. And to me, I thought to myself, you spending more time talking about other drivers is not building the value. You're not showing me the value. Price is not the issue here. The price is we consider price based on the value that we get. And in this moment, with the way the other guys have communicated, the ones that are offering £30 an hour, we were happy with the value that they were trying to bring and the price that they were offering. In fact, we didn't even have a choice with the price. We just took whatever price they were offering based on the value that they communicated. So when it comes to this guy who was considerably more, I would say somebody who thinks he's a market leader, he wasn't very good at breaking down what it was. And if I was a driving instructor, personally, I would be going down to the route of actually doing, at least communicating that, I've had experience with people with, anxiety. I've also had experience with people with autism, and these are the different tactics and different strategies that I have for them in these sort of social situations. This is how I help them to overcome in terms of the start. So I would have like a customer life journey or some sort of customer breakdown on how you, from the beginning, the first phase of teaching them how you would introduce new concepts to them, how you would reduce anxiety when something new has to happen. And, if you break it down in a sense that even if you charge £50 an hour, price becomes not an issue, because now we know that this is the right person because he's communicated the reason, and he's communicated the skills that he has in order to provide the service that we want. Because at the moment, I've got no clue. He could be just saying he's good with autism just for the sake that he wants to get more customers, but he hasn't detailed out the strategy. And again, it comes back to that communicating the value that you're going to give. When you can communicate that, it negates price. So if you find yourself in an industry where you're communicating, all your communication is focused on that you're the cheapest, then it's because you failed on communicating the value that you're bringing. And again, when you say, you're probably thinking, well, everybody's communicated the value that they're bringing, and I don't, if for instance, if I'll give an example, like with this driving instructor, everybody says, yes, I do deal with autism people. Everybody's saying the same thing. You could come from it from a different angle. So you can describe the problem from a different angle. And in this case, I was saying, if he had some sort of go to this place and download a PDF of how I would do a phase 1, a phase 2, and a phase 3 for them to pass. And in phase 1, we'll be dealing with this in order to teach them how to drive, but at the same time deal with, not inhibit his anxiety, but at least help him to cope better with new social situations in a driving context. And then in phase 2, we'll be dealing with, how you can understand, the different maneuvers, but at the same time, how it could affect his anxiety and how you'd mitigate for those changes. And being able to explain it in a way that everybody else is not being able to explain puts you in a different perspective and actually puts you in a different place. So it's almost like you're not competing on the fact that you're a driving instructor, but you're actually competing on the fact that you are better at dealing with a person rather than the actual skill of showing that you're a good driver. So I hope this makes sense. I'm sort of going really quickly because I'm on my break. I'm supposed to be going back, and I'm hoping just to quick fire this concept so that if it's a case that in your business right now you're competing on price and you're not sure where to get your customers because you've got somebody else down the street who's doing the same thing, who's getting more customers, and for whatever reason you probably, your product is a lot better than everybody else, but you're not making as much money as everybody else that has got a weaker product. But so, and it comes down to this definite concept that if you can actually communicate the problem and how you're going to solve it, and it doesn't have to be a traditional way of how you solve it. You can think of a different way, and really we call this creating a blue ocean. So being able to actually communicate, and this comes from a concept that Stephen Larson was teaching, that there's if you start looking at your current market and you see the way people are purchasing right now, there's usually ends up being a gap within that market of something. So it's called duct tape marketing. So back in the day, people would buy a brand new car, and then they would drive out of the new parking, they'll drive out the car lot. As soon as the car drive out, they would park to the side and then tape a mirror onto the windscreen. And that became a common theme amongst new drivers. As soon as they buy the car, they'll tape mirrors onto the window screens. So that was now an aftermarket thing that was happening, and the first car manufacturer that decided to include a mirror, you can imagine that people would have flocked to that car company in order to get that car because it's already coming with the thing that is aftermarket. So you need to actually start looking within your market. What is it that people are having to modify when you offer your thing? And that could be the thing that you can explain in order to start actually coming from a different angle. And then price is never an issue at that point. So you can be that guy could be, if he could explain it properly, he could even go as far as £60 per hour if he wanted to, because he's communicated that is going to get my son to the result, and he's going to go through that result without him going under a lot of stress. Is him passing for me is important, and him passing without having to deal with too much, because I'm afraid that if he goes for 3 or 4 lessons and it's too much, it's really, really stressful, he might not want to do it. He might actually give up the whole thing. So if I can be assured that this guy is going to actual plan that is got for the next 20 lessons to actually get him through these 20 lessons without him having to give up, I'm going to go with him. And if he charges £60, I'm going to have to just cough it out and make sure, because it's important to me and it's important for my son. So it goes to show that price isn't the issue here. The issue is actually the fact that none of them are communicating. In fact, this guy was charging considerably more. He was not communicating what makes him different. What's the difference about him with everybody else? And we at the moment we are shopping based on price because they're all saying the same thing. So this is the difference between having value and the price. And if you start looking at it from this perspective, it changes your whole entire business. So I hope this is helpful. And if I've lost you anywhere and you are unsure and you've got questions, please get me on my Instagram. If you want to learn more stuff like this, join the Men of Honor Facebook group. If you like any of this content, please review on any of the platforms that you're listening to. And also, if you know somebody that might need this, can you please just share with them, and hopefully you can get their business making more money, because this is what we're all about. We're going to change this world by making more money and getting rid of these people that are poor. And I've got nothing against people that are poor, but there's a quote that there's 2 ways you can help people being poor. There's 2 ways to help people that are poor. Is you not being one of them, and you being able to create jobs for them. And this is the reason why we're on this Men of Honor. We're on a journey to actually create business leaders that are going to make a difference in this world. So thank you very much, guys, for listening, and I hope I'll be seeing you soon. So take care. Oh man, I forgot again to keep it open so I didn't have to tap. So thank you very much.